Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. We made it to the end of a work week, which is truly, truly a blessing. I hope and pray that everybody's week has been great and that you're ready for the weekend and what the weekend has in store for you because there's definitely something in store for you. Before I get started, I will, of course, open up with a word of prayer. Lord, Heavenly Father, precious name of Jesus, we just come to you now just to say thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for being the God you are. Thank you for your grace, your love, your peace, and your understanding. I just pray that as we dive into your word this morning, that this word will touch us. I pray this word will help us to understand you more, understand our now what phase, understand that we need to watch our camp. I just pray this word would just edify us. I pray for every person that watches the video, whether it's the live or the replay or later on. I just pray that this word will just touch them in a mighty way. And I just pray just allow me to decrease so that you can increase in and through me. We love you, we honor you, and we praise you. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. If you miss Morning Manna, you can always catch up on Morning Manna on Facebook and on YouTube. On YouTube, I have a channel at I am JaNea Hailey, and on Facebook, I have two pages. I have a personal page and a ministry page. My personal page, you can friend me or follow it, and my ministry page, you can like or follow that page. My ministry page, I'm wearing a black and white stripy dress. My main page, I am wearing a black dress. So for the month of March, the Lord has given me the assignment to come from the series called the Now What series. But this week we have been in this mini series called the Watch Your Camp series. And if you have missed anything in the Watch Your Camp series, mini series, I highly suggest you go back and watch it. I highly suggest you go back and watch it because it's been very, very good. The Lord has really been speaking to us, and honestly, I feel like He's trying to let us know that we just have to watch who's around us and what is around us as we matriculate through His plan, or as we matriculate going from here to there. And I think He really wants to wants us to watch who is around us. So today I want to come from of course it's the Watch Your Camp mini series. This is the last installment of it, but I want to come from, do they understand your language? Do they understand your language? Watch Your Camp. Do they understand your language? When you're matriculating through God's plan, sometimes everyone will not understand your language, but you have to be mature to understand that. You have to be mature to get that point that as you're matriculating through God's plan, that everyone's not going to understand your language. You may have used to speak one way, but now you speak different because of what you have experienced and what you have went through. For example, you may have used to complain about everything, but now you speak on things differently. You may have been the one to give excuses, but now you speak on things from a different perspective. There's growth there, right? There's so much growth there. As you grow, your camp has to fall into alignment or fall back. As you grow, your camp or those who are around you needs to either fall into alignment or they need to fall back. Why? Because their influence or presence can either cause good or bad for you. Their influence or presence can either cause good or bad for you. This morning, I want to come from Job chapter 2, verses 9 through 10, New King James Version, Job chapter 2, verses 9 through 10. It says, Then his wife said to him, Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die. But he said to her, You speak as one of the foolish woman speaks. Shall we indeed accept good from God, and shall we not accept adversity? And all this Job did not sin with his lips. I'm going to read it again. Then his wife said to him, Do you still hold fast to your integrity? Curse God and die. But he said to her, You speak as one of the foolish women speaks. Shall we indeed accept good from God, and shall we not accept adversity? And all this Job did not sin with his lips. So Job was nominated by God to experience suffering like no other. The first test involved Job's wealth, children, and nearly all his servants. The second one involved his health. Satan immediately caused Job to have painful sores all over his body. He was sitting with the skin condition outside the city, scraping his sores. That's where we are in the text. When Job's wife urged him to forget his integrity and curse God and die, Job called her foolish. But Job is not calling his wife a fool. Rather, he is saying her advice is foolish. When Job needed comfort from her, he received another terrible blow, which was showing evidence of her bitterness, probably towards God, because she was watching her husband suffer. Job's wife had probably had nothing to say with the other calamities or the things that he went through before that has taken place, but probably she is at a point where she can no longer watch her husband be so afflicted and watch him suffer. However, in a calm confidence in God's ways, Job pointed out that trouble as well as good comes from God. Instead of diving into what his wife said, he chose to speak in a different language. He chose to speak in a different way. Instead of speaking bad about his situation, Job remembers all the good which he has received of God during his past life and all the blessing and prosperity that has been bestowed upon him. He accepts both prosperity and affliction as coming from God and expresses himself as a willing to submit to God's will. His now what God was his affliction and his suffering. Like, now what God, what do you want me to do now? What do you want me to deal with now? He was in affliction and he was suffering, but he is at a point looking to his healing and fulfillment of God's promises. He understands that good and bad comes from the Lord, but at the end of the day, God will still keep his promise. Do they understand your language? His wife said some very, very foolish advice. I'm using the words he used. Foolish advice to Job as he was going through what he was going through. But how he responded back to her was the fact that God provides good and also provides bad. So you have to watch your camp. Like I said, either the people around you either need to fall in line or they need to fall back. In this case, he had to kind of check her to be like, well, the Lord gives good and the Lord also gives bad. Does that change who God is? No, that does not change who God is. He is there with me every step of the way. If I were to paraphrase what Job was saying to his wife. So this is very important aspect to understand in your now what season with those people that are around you. Will they understand, or do they understand your language? Are you going to dive in to what they say, or are you going to say what thus says the Lord? Or are you going to say what you know to be true? That's very important as you are in your now what season. You have to watch your camp, because the people in your camp, they're probably people. When I say people in your camp, some of the people that are around you, the close relationships, friends, they probably do not want to see you suffering. They probably are tired of seeing you suffering. So they're going to say anything to try to, quote unquote, help your situation. But you have to be mindful of what they are saying to you. Are you going to fall into what they say? Are you going to try to discern what they say? Or are you just going to take what they say and run with it? That's why you have to watch your camp and your now what season. Because your now what season could be hell on earth right now. So when it's hell on earth, you're at a place where you're just like, what am I supposed to do? That's why it's now what? That's why it's now what? People who are not on your level will not understand you. Or people who have not felt your level of pain will not understand you. Sometimes you have to talk low in order to be heard. What does that mean? We experience a lot of things in our life. Some things people have no idea what we have experienced behind closed doors. And because of that, when we come outdoors, when we come outside to everyone else, we have to be able to bring our language down a little bit so that people can understand us a little bit. Because if we speak up here from where we went through, people aren't going to get that. You have to bring it down sometimes. That's why you have to watch your camp. You have to water down your language to be understood to those around you. That's very, very important, because you can go through so much and you can express so many things, but if you speak too highly, or if you speak too holy, or if you speak too I've been through so much, people are not going to understand that. That's why you have to watch your camp. That's why you have to know if they understand your language or not. But this is just you. This is just me teaching you to be mindful of those things, and that you won't get offended, or you won't put yourself in a point of discouragement because those around you don't understand. This is what this word It's forward, so you have to watch your camp. You may be in your now what God placed, but your camp can have influence on your progression, depending on what they say. Your camp can have an influence on your progression depending on what they say. So don't mix with them. Don't mix with them. Do not. Do not mix with them. Where you are is different, so don't beat yourself up about it. Like I said, I'm preparing you so you don't get offended when your camp doesn't understand what you've been through. When your camp can't speak on your level. I'm just trying to prepare you for that, because that happens through our progression through God's plan. Just be mindful of your language around them. Be mindful of your language around them. Be mindful of the words that you use around them, because they may not be able to understand everything. And it's not for them to understand everything, because everybody's not going to empathize with you. That's just the point. Everybody's not going to always be able to empathize with you. And sometimes if you stick with them, that will have an effect on you depending on how they are and where they stand with what you're going through. Depending on how they are and where they stand with what you're going through, what they do will have an effect on you. Job's wife told him to curse God and die. What if he stood with that? What if he stood with that? And that's his wife. That's his wife. That's the closest you can get to somebody. That's his wife, and that's what his wife said. So that really just shows us we have to be mindful of our camp. This mini series was put in place for you to be mindful of those who are around you as you matriculate through God's plan. Being mindful of who's around you as you matriculate through God's plan. When we are in our now what, that's when we can be at our most vulnerable points, right? When we are at our now what, that's when we can be at our most vulnerable point. But I want you to be mindful of your camp due to your vulnerability because of what you may be going through. I want you to be mindful of your camp due to your vulnerability because of what you are going through. Do they understand your language? Do they understand your language? You might have to water it down for them, and that's okay. But what I want you to be mindful of, what I want you to be able to discern is how they respond back, and how do you respond back to them. That's what this is about. That is what this is about. You can be on at a season where it's hell in your life, right? And you have people around you that are tired of seeing you suffer, and they're going to say things out their mouth, but how are you going to respond to that? How are you going to respond to your own suffering? What are you going to speak out of your mouth during your own situation? That plays a role too. And I think that plays a role with putting your camp in alignment as well. Because like I said, they either have to fall into alignment or fall back. It's either one or the other. But how you speak matters too. How you initiate what you say about what you're going through matters too. And I believe that brings influence to your camp as well, to those who are around you. So watch your camp. Do they understand your language? Do they understand your language? I hope this word blessed you. I hope this mini series blessed you. I hope it really helped you understand the people that are around you, your relationships, how all that plays a role as you're in your now what. Because we're at a place called here, and we're trying to get a place called there. And I'm hoping that this can encourage you and help put things into perspective for you. So I really hope you enjoy this mini series this week. Yeah. Don't forget the Move Apparel line. Movements only is grace. Those who are connected to it, please shop moveapparelline.com. Get you some gear. I'll be back on Monday for a week. I think I call it Jump Starter. Week Jump Starter as we continue with this series. I believe next week will be, can I say that? No. Yes. Next week should be the last week, almost last week of then now what series we're closely getting to the end of March. I'm not looking at a calendar. We're closing into the end of March. So this series is coming to a close. So I'm excited to see where the Lord is going to take us. Also, don't forget the Outcry experience. It's not a place you want to, it's not a place you want to miss. And it's not a place that you want to hear about, it's a place you want to be, right? Or it's not something you want to hear about, it's a place you want to be. It's not another church service, it's a move of God. God is going to do some amazing work. There's a flyer posted to the top of my profile, my personal page, my profile page, with all the information. Therefore, you bring somebody with you. You don't want to do it alone. You want to do it with somebody that can stand with you, because the Lord is going to do a work. I am in anticipation on what the Lord is going to do at the Outcry Experience. Follow the Outcry Experience on Instagram at the Outcry EXP if you have not already done so. I'm not live streaming anything, so please, please, please have your face in the place and please be on time because I start on time. God bless you. So that's happening tomorrow for sure. So I hope to see your face in the place. I think that's all my announcements that I typically say at the end of minutes. I say a lot. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I pray that you're just mindful of your camp. I pray that you keep that in mind as you go forward through your now what's, as you go through whatever your circumstance is. And I just thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in, getting your word in, getting your manna in, and being so consistent. The Lord will bless you for your consistency. I'm a witness to that. He'll bless you for your consistency. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see everybody on Monday. God bless you. God bless you.